In today's show, I'll be breaking down the latest Bitcoin technical analysis, as well as 3 reasons why the Bitcoin price is showing strength this week. Not only that, but the Bitcoin hash rate just broke out to yet another all-time high. Send it. We'll also be discussing Bitcoin ETFs lead to record miner reserve, Bitcoin outflows, and BlackRock and Fidelity now officially own a combined 138,489 Bitcoin worth $5.9 billion just for their spot Bitcoin ETFs. We'll also be discussing Prosecutors accuse Wright, aka Fake Toshi, of industrial scale forgery before the High Court, as well as 3 Bitcoin price forecasts calling for new all-time highs this year in 2024. We're also going to be discussing substitution of gold for Bitcoin is now underway. According to Cathie Wood, I'll be sharing the latest from the greatest. We'll also be discussing the U.S. government will seize all Bitcoin ETF BTC. Quoting the High Priest Max Keiser here, you are not protected against government seizure, and the U.S. government plans to seize all Bitcoin ETF Bitcoin in the interests of national security. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market, fam. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. If you're new to the channel, be sure to smash that subscribe button to turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. Also important to pump the likes. It helps pump the stream, get more eyeballs. Here, my goal is to get to 100,000 subs alongside the Bitcoin price action this year, that 100K milestone, so we can have our 100K fiesta. Let's get it. Now, today is pod episode number, 1500 and let me confirm, 43. That is correct. Pod episode 1543. I'm your host, JV, and today is February 6, 2024. Let's kick it off with our market watch, as we do each and every day. Give me one sec. Here we go. You can see Bitcoin back in the green along with the top alts, hovering above 43,100, up 1.5. We have Ether trading just below 2,400, up 4% on the day. We also have BNB, Solana, Uni, and yeah, all the major cryptos in the green. You got to love that. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. We're currently sitting at a 1.66 trillion market cap with 44 billion in volume for the past 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance back on the decline at 51% even. Can you say 51% attack against the alts? We also have Ether currently at 17.3% back on the climb. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past 24 hours, we have Dimension up a whopping 50%, trading just shy of $6, followed by ENS up roughly 11%, trading at $22.38, followed by Optimism up 8%, trading at $3.32. Below that, we have Pendle, Arbitrum, Uniswap, Hedera, IOTA, Synthetics, Lido, DAO, Graph, and Polygon Matic. Now, which altcoins are you most bullish on for this particular bull run 2024-2025? Holla at your boy. And checking out the crypto bubbles for a visual perspective on the market for the day. You got DYM, up 46%. You got Monero down 35%. And as I mentioned earlier, Monero just hit a 5-month low. And I also heard news Binance will soon be delisting XMR/Monero. So not a good look for that privacy coin, unfortunately. We also have some of the gainers. ENS, Tau is up 12%. We got ETH up 4% and OP up over 8%. You down with OPP? Let me know. Now, checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're currently rated a 64 in greed. Yesterday, 60. Last week, 61. And last month, a 71 in greed. And checking out the Bitcoin halving countdown clock. We only have 71 days, family. That's like virtually 2 months and 11 days until the biggest event in crypto for the past 4 years. It's scheduled to take place on April 17th. If you're pretty ecstatic for the halving, holla at your boy. Let me know in the comments. But anyways, fam, let's dive into our Bitcoin technical analysis now that we did our market watch. And check out some of the charts of where the Bitcoin price is likely to go next. The headline reads 3 reasons why the Bitcoin price showing strength this week. And first, I just want to point out, check this out. Breaking new record, Bitcoin hash rate, 560 quintillion exahashes per second. Correct me if I'm not saying this crazy number wrong or correct, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 freaking commas. Look at that Wow, parabolic rise on the hash, man. This is insane. Quick shout out to Casey Gates. Appreciate you gifting 5 MicroStrategy memberships to the channel. Congratulations to Silas, Lewis, Corey Loomis. We have Johnny Rico and Creeper 420. You've all been blessed with the MicroStrategy membership of the channel, so you have to show Casey some serious love. He just hooked y'all up. So congratulations, family. We appreciate the support, and thank you, Casey. You're the man. Appreciate that sincerely. So yeah, hash rate continues hitting new all-time highs. And as Max says, the Bitcoin price follows the hash rate. So when the technicals are this strong, definitely a good sign. Bitcoin registers 702 million in inflows. Check it out. CoinShares, according to the report, Bitcoin investment products recorded 99% of all the inflows. Bitcoin welcomed 703 million in inflows, bringing the total global assets under management to $53 billion. Additionally, Grayscale's GBTC ETF outflows continues to slow down, but on the other hand, short Bitcoin investment vehicles, which make money on declining prices, witnessed minor outflows. This coincides with the reversal of the negative sentiment. It is important to note that the Bitcoin investment products faced an outflow of over 500 million at the end of January, and this is aggressive GBTC selling, which may have played a role in the market correction, clearly. Now, I mean, next up, Bitcoin miner reserves are increasing. Check out this chart. Shows you the Bitcoin miner reserve for all the miners. Bitcoin miners were on a selling spree towards the end of January. The miner net flow total on February 1st was negative 13,542 BTC. The metric measures the difference between coins flowing into and out of the exchanges. A negative number indicates a drop in miner reserves. However, over the past 24 hours, more than 2,400 BTC had been added to the miner's reserve. An increase in reserve means selling pressure from this cohort of market participants, which is currently fading. However, the miner's position index is still above 1, which means on a 1-year average, miners are moderately selling right now. If miner reserves continue to rise over the next few weeks, the MPI index will undergo a decline. An MPI index below 1 indicates the miners are moderately holding. Next up, the Bitcoin fees rise 35% in a week. That's right. The increase in on-chain revenue during a consolidating market is a sign of network demand. And according to blockchain analytics provider Token Terminal, Bitcoin fees generated over the past week are up 35.71%. As you can see here on your screen, an increasing utilization of the Bitcoin network can lead to user base expansion. These metrics collectively improve the user base. The price tends to follow the positive route. Now, if the fees are increasing, it means there is a willingness from the users to pay a higher amount to be included in that next block. The current market dynamic indicates that narrative, which might generate positive momentum for the Bitcoin in the charts. Next up, Bitcoin price reclaims the 50 exponential moving average. Let's go. As you can see on the daily chart, Bitcoin's immediate resistance is around 44,500. We're not too far out, family, about a G away. Now, while Bitcoin dropped down to 38.5 support January 23rd, it immediately recovered a position above its 50 exponential moving average, while the highest overhead resistance is positioned to Bitcoin swing high at 49,100, which is the current high for approximately the past 23 months. So virtually 2 years, family. And shout out to Denny Howard. I appreciate you supporting the channel by becoming a MicroStrategy member. Much love to Denny. Appreciate that. But we're going to dive into our next story of the day. I still got a lot to cover before it gets dark because I started the show a little late today. Yeah. Anyways, let's discuss some of these ETF inflows, outflows, and Bitcoin reserves. Here you go. The launch of the Bitcoin ETFs in the US has directly influenced miners' Bitcoin reserves, with more than 1 billion of Bitcoin flowing from miner wallets to exchanges in the first 48 hours of trading. That's right. According to the latest Bitfinex Alpha Market report, reflecting the on-chain data, the second day of trading of Bitcoin ETFs, January 12th, saw a significant increase in Bitcoin miners' outflow to the exchanges. In citing data from Glassnode, the report highlights over $1 billion of Bitcoin being sent to the exchanges from miner-associated wallets on the same day, marking a 6-year high in miner outflow. And February 1st also saw another significant amount of Bitcoin moving out of the miner wallets, with 13,500 Bitcoin being sent to the exchanges. The report also noted that around 10,000 BTC was sent back to miner wallets on February 2nd, suggesting activity could be also attributed to specific mining companies which are rebalancing their wallets. Bitfinex analysts suggest a net outflow of 3,500 BTC over a single day, marking the highest value of the metric observed since May of 2023. As you can see in the chart showing you the Bitcoin miner net flow total, and this includes all the miners. The report adds that the on-chain data reflecting the flow of Bitcoin from the miner wallets has been predominantly negative since the approval of the Bitcoin ETFs in the US. Crypto Quant data estimates that the net outflows from the miners to be approximately 10,200 BTC. And the factors influencing the Bitcoin outflows from the miner wallets are multifaceted. The report cites the need for operational liquidity for the miners, as well as varying responses to market conditions and adjustments following the approval of the Bitcoin ETFs. The analyst adds that some miners may have also looked to capitalize on the price surge weeks before the ETFs were approved, quoting the report here. This substantial transfer of Bitcoin from the miners to the exchanges reflects the miners' response to market conditions and potentially their need to liquidate holdings for operational expenses or risk management. And while the miners were observed moving the Bitcoin from wallets post-Bitcoin ETF approvals, on-chain data suggests that long-term Bitcoin investors are holding assets and are reluctant to sell at the current market prices. That's what's up. Where my long-term hodlers at? Say diamond hands in that chat. And referring to the supply last active metric, the analysts highlight a decline in supply last active within 1 year and 2 year time horizons. This activity has been directly associated with the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC, with dormant Bitcoin holdings having been sold or swapped into other Bitcoin ETFs, as shared here. The result being a noteworthy volume of BTC, which has been dormant for an extended period and has begun to circulate in the recent weeks. The report also notes that the movement of the older Bitcoin supply is a notable indicator of the market behavior, reflecting changing sentiments and strategies of investors that are responding to the Bitcoin ETFs or reassessing positions in response to current market conditions. The analysts maintain that a significant majority of the Bitcoin supply continues to be tightly held. That's what's up. My long-term hodlers know what's up. The trend of holding amongst long-term investors reflects a continued belief in the future appreciation of Bitcoin. I mean, you got to be crazy to be selling right now. Check out what the smart money is doing. BlackRock and Fidelity. BlackRock being a $10 trillion asset manager, the largest in the world, and Fidelity, one of the largest, own a combined 138,489 BTC, worth $5.9 billion just for their spot Bitcoin ETFs. What did it take them, family? What has it been? 3 weeks? Less than 4 weeks? They now have over 138,000 Bitcoin. And guess who's coming for all that Bitcoin? That's going to be our feature story of the day, the US government. You already know, fam, it's a rigged game out there. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. But anyways, we still got a lot to share. Let's discuss the latest with the fake Toshi Craig Wright case, which is breaking news right here. Headline reads, prosecutors accuse Mr. Craig Wright of industrial scale forgery before the high court. The self-styled Bitcoin creator, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, Craig Wright, appeared in court on Monday to face the well-funded prosecutors seeking to prove that the computer scientist is not, in fact, Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, does anyone here actually ever believe that? I'm curious. The legal battle is widely expected to bring an end to reoccurring lawsuits launched by Wright against the crypto community. To me, it's one big attack on Bitcoin, and it was all orchestrated. And we've discussed this in previous episodes. But anyways, the first day of the trial features skeleton arguments from both prosecutors and Wright before the scientist's lawyers present his full case on Tuesday. Is that today, right? His opposition in the Crypto Open Patent Alliance, COPA, a group backed by both Meta, formerly Facebook, Block, and the payments firm spearheaded by Bitcoin enthusiasts, Jack Dorsey. It says, CWS, that's Craig Wright's conduct is deadly serious, argued COPA in the London High Court before Justice Edwards James Mellor. He had terrorized bloggers who dispute his claim. This is done with the backing of Calvin. Now, according to Max Keiser, Calvin is the man pulling the strings of Craig Wright and the mastermind behind him. And again, if you missed that episode, we covered this. You may want to check that out. Alluding to the popular tech billionaire who owns a large stake in the major block producer for the Wright-inspired blockchain, Bitcoin Satoshi Vision, the prosecution accused Wright of creating an elaborate false narrative, preach, about his identity. Preach. Using forgery on an industrial scale. Preach. While being unable to produce any reliable documents to support his claims. Preach. I feel like a pastor. For example, while Wright has claimed to own LaTeX files that he alleges were the original Bitcoin white paper, evidence suggests he was still applying edits to those documents as of late December 2023. Fraudster. His internet search history at the time also showed that he Googled whether the Bitcoin white paper was written in LaTeX. Now, Wright's defense. In their opening statement, Wright's legal team countered that Wright has a steep educational background in finance and cryptography and philosophical tenets required to be Satoshi. Furthermore, nobody else had come forward with serious claims to be Satoshi, thus supporting Wright's claim. The intro arguments from Wright were largely criticized by the online spectators, as they should. I've been reluctant to use the doctor title for Craig Wright. But with the sheer amount of doctored evidence, oh, that's a good one, being presented by COPA, I'm about to change my mind. And Bloomberg ETF analyst James Seyfarth also found the extent of the lies and forgeries from Wright to be borderline unbelievable. The trial is expected to conclude next month before a decision in writing is granted at a later date. What do you think the outcome of the trial will likely be, family? Please do let me know. Let's discuss Bitcoin all-time highs. You want to discuss all-time highs? The headline reads, 3 Bitcoin price forecasts calling new all-time highs in 2024. 130,000 before the year is out. Yay or nay? Let me know in the live chat. The timing for Bitcoin price discovery varies considerably amongst the popular forecasters. We have Alan Terregrade, who focuses on 130 Gs, nearly double the current all-time high, sitting right before the end of 2024. Now, personally, let's do it. 2x, easy peasy, in my opinion. I think that's actually a great target for this year. What do you guys think, family? Uploading a chart on X, he described a so-called cup and handle pattern playing out on the weekly chart. What if Bitcoin breaks this cup and handle pattern near the date of the halving? The target for this pattern is 138,000. A complete 2x from the all-time high would be 138,000, right? 69 times 2. Now, in other words, it is the last opportunity for accumulation in these 2 months before it sends above 100,000. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. What about 280,000 post-halving? Let's discuss it. Those willing to wait longer for a cycle top, I also humbly believe it'll happen in 2025. What do you guys think? Put 2024 if you think cycle peak for the cycle in 2024, or if you think 2025, put 2025 in that live chat. For Charles Edwards, the Capriole Investments, he shares the path leads to over $250,000 per coin in 2025. If Bitcoin's post-halving returns are the same as 2020, we are looking at 280,000 Bitcoin next year. Edwards touched on the common narrative involving Bitcoin's 4-year cycle price cycles. This states that each successive cycle peak will be less extreme than the previous due to the Bitcoin maturing as an asset, with the volatility decreasing permanently. So in his eyes, even the 2020 breakout, which took Bitcoin from 10,000 in September to 58,000 just 7 months later, did not show Bitcoin at full power. You might reasonably argue the cycle's returns are less than 2020. However, I believe the 2020 cycle performance was metacore and an outlier. So there you go. I mean, I feel we can have a big run up potentially like we had in 2016, 2017. What are your thoughts on that? Some say the 2012, 2013 halving, because we're in unprecedented times where there is literally massive FOMO at the institutional level. This clearly didn't exist in the previous halvings. Now, he also shared that it's worth mentioning that none of the prior halvings have ever been priced in. So I'm expecting multi-100% returns to continue here as well. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analyst. Now, no time left until 64,000 run. Some of the boldest Bitcoin price demands involve all-time highs nearing that same time of the halving itself. While some believe the Bitcoin will continue to slip from the current levels into the event, we have Freddy Krueger sees a price transformation on Elm Street coming much sooner than many expect. Now, Krueger laid out the case for all-time highs within the next 30 to 60 days. Wow. Now, could you imagine that? Leading up to the halving, smashing the all-time high. Let's go. Quitting Amir. Over the next 30 to 60 days, there are 20 to 40 trading sessions. I would bet this results in between 4 and 6 billion in new US dollars and inflows. He also says that the market cap at 850 billion, it is pretty easy to see this could move the market 50% or to 64,000, basically an all-time high. So there you have it. Crypto fam, let me know if you agree or disagree with those analysts. But anyways, fam, it's getting dark, so I got to get to the next story. We got 2 more stories to share. Here's the latest from Cathie Wood, and yes, please don't drink Cathie Wood's bathwater. You'll learn your lesson. Anyways, here's Here's the latest from Cathie Wood. The headline reads, "Substitution, a goal for Bitcoin, is now underway." Investors have started to move from gold to Bitcoin after the launch of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, according to the CEO of ARK Invest. Quoting her here, "Relative to gold, Bitcoin has been rising. There is now a substitution into Bitcoin, and we think it is going to continue now that there is a less friction-filled way to access Bitcoin," says Cathie Wood in a February 4th chat, I guess that was 2 days ago, with Chief Futurist Brett Winton on the YouTube channel. And here you can see the Bitcoin to gold logarithmic chart showed by ARK Invest. Now, like gold, Wood expects Bitcoin to prove itself as a risk-off asset when the banking sector shows signs of weakness. The ARK Invest CEO said the market saw the first hand in March of 2023 when the U.S. experienced a regional banking crisis. Y'all remember that, leading the Bitcoin price to shoot up 40%. Like it ain't no thing. As shared here, the regional bank index was imploding, and here again, the regional bank index is acting up. This idea that it's a flight to quality or a flight to safety is reasserting itself here. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that sentiment. And a recent analysis by Fidelity showed Bitcoin's correlation with gold increased in 2023 and decoupled from the previous inverse relationship with interest rates despite the global rates increasing worldwide. The one-year rolling correlation between Bitcoin and gold currently sits at 0.8 according to longer trends, which is the highest it has ever been. And regarding the spot Bitcoin ETF launch, Wood said she wasn't surprised by the price correction, which saw Bitcoin fall 20% from 48.5 a few hours after the launch to 38.7 on January 24th, according to CoinGecko. Prior to the launch, Wood predicted the launch would induce a sell on the news event. And for once in his life, Jim Cramer was actually right. However, she noted that 15 million of the 19.5 million Bitcoin currently in circulation haven't moved in 155 days and thus remain in strong hands, which could indicate that most of the Bitcoin hodlers are taking the longer term outlook. That's what's up. Again, shout out to my diamond hands. Wood's firm was one of the 10 ETF issuers that launched a spot Bitcoin ETF January 11th, named the ARK21 Bitcoin Shares ETF. The ARK21 Shares ETF is holding 705 million in Bitcoin after trading hours closed last week. And BitMEX research data shows only Grayscale's GBTC, BlackRock, iBits, Fidelity, and FBTC products hold more than that when it comes to Bitcoin. ARK Invest also became a big buyer of crypto exchange Coinbase stock in February of 2022, currently holds 7.187 million shares worth 843 million across several ETFs, according to data from ARK. Now, the firm has, however, been selling their Coinbase stock rigorously since June 7th of last year, when it held 11.43 million shares. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts on the latest from Cathie Wood. And do you think Bitcoin's market cap will likely overtake that of the precious metal, gold? And where is that gold market cap now, floating around? We at 14 trillion, 13, 12 trillion? Let me know, family. Let's now dive into our featured story of the day and discuss the U.S. government seizing all the Bitcoin through the Bitcoin ETF. As I shared with you earlier, BlackRock and Fidelity now collectively own over 138,000 BTC. Took them 3 weeks. Is the ultimate plan for them to accumulate mass Bitcoin, only for the U.S. government to seize it in the name of national security? Let's discuss it, because according to Max Keiser, that's precisely the plan of the U.S. government. So here you go, quoting the high priest: "You are not protected against government seizure, and the U.S. government plans to seize all the Bitcoin ETF Bitcoin in the interest of national security." If you think they could do that and would do that, let me know your thoughts, fam, in that live chat. He says it right here. Here's how he outlines it. Number one, the government seizes the ETF for the name of national security. Number two, before they send you your US dollars, or it would be a CBDC equivalent, depending upon the time, right? Number three, the price moves up 100,000. And number four, you pay tax on the gain from the payout. And with what's left, you buy Bitcoin at a price 100,000 higher. Then the price crashes, number five. And number six, you're now sitting on a net losing position from where you started. That's right. I'm going to read you a couple of more tweets, and then we're going to dive into this article. So yeah, next tweet says, And actually, that's kind of what I just read to you. So here's another one. He also predicts the global total amount of financial instruments on planet Earth is roughly $400 trillion. This is when he did the Jimmy Dore interview, FYI. If you missed it, check it out. It was really lit. So Bitcoin would capture a percentage of that. We're talking a $1 to $2 million Bitcoin price. Let me know if you can see that in the future. Bitcoin realistically hitting between 1 to 2 million per coin. I know it's inevitable and only a matter of time, but I want to know your thoughts, family. So this headline reads, Bitcoin Maxi raises doubt of government seizure, a Bitcoin ETF. That's right. Bitcoin advocate Max Keiser, the high priest and right hand to Bukele, the head advisor over there for Bitcoin for the people of El Salvador. And shout out to Bukele, who just got reelected for another 5-year term. Much respect. He asserts that the hodlers of the Bitcoin ETF are not safeguarded against potential government seizure. Max alleges that the U.S. government has intentions to confiscate all the Bitcoin held within the ETFs, citing national security interests as the driving force behind such a move. Now, how would that look like? In my opinion, it could be as simple as Joe Biden writing an executive order in the name of national security, and because Bitcoin is a direct threat to the US dollar and it undermines the US dollar, therefore we're going to confiscate all of the Bitcoin from Coinbase's custody out of the hands of BlackRock so that we, the US government, can control this Bitcoin. But don't worry, folks, we're going to give you the CBDC or US dollar equivalent, and you're going to be so blessed. Don't worry, we're just going to kidnap all of the Bitcoin and give you the dollars. Hey, what do you think? How do you like my Biden impersonate? That's if he could actually talk, but anyways, I digress. So anyways, he cited an expert from Valkyrie Bitcoin Fund Form S1 registration statement that the U.S. federal regulator can force the trust to liquidate the Bitcoin of seize, impound, and restrict access to the trust assets. 100% they can do that. And let's not forget the 1933 Gold Seizure Act. They're capable of confiscating your wealth, and if they have the power to do so, I think they would exercise it. What do you think, family? Keiser argues that this would be very much against the decentralized nature of Bitcoin. Note that the spot Bitcoin ETF issues shares against the physical Bitcoin purchases. That's right. However, it remains with the designated custodians, and unlike the self-custody, and as you know, not your coins, not your keys, not your coins, not your cheese, not your keys. And please say no to Mickey D's. Recently, the SEC veteran also criticized the Bitcoin ETF applicants while referring to them as opportunists and quoting Alex Talk tweets here. Not likely, but not out of the realm of possibility if you read the fine print. And again, it's in the fine print that they can seize it, family. This excerpt from the Valkyrie Bitcoin Fund Form S1 registration statement seizes, impounds, restricts access are outcomes we want to protect our wealth from. Real Bitcoin is superior. And you only have the real Bitcoin if you're holding the underlying asset, for example, in self-custody. So as Max says here, you are not protected against government seizure, and the US government plans to seize all the Bitcoin ETF Bitcoin in the interest of national security. Now, Bloomberg ETF analyst James Seyfarth noted, however outlandish the prospect of this may be, in my opinion, it is the first criticism of Bitcoin ETFs that I have seen from Max in recent days that I guess is technically true. 100% there, family. Now, Seyfarth added that one should refrain from investing in Bitcoin ETF if they have concerns about the government seizure or want to hedge against societal collapse. So that's right. And let me break it down in layman terms. If you trust your U.S. government and you don't care to self-custody and you don't want the responsibility and you don't care about holding the underlying asset because you love your government so much, I think an ETF could be a great vehicle for you. Now, if you distrust your government, right? You trust nobody and you want to verify everything and you want to hold the underlying asset, then it's not even a comparison. It's not even a question, right? Because Bitcoin ETF is not equivalent to self-custodied Bitcoin. So choose your weapon wisely because it could make all the world of difference for you and your family for generations to come, right? So the choice is yours. At the end of the day, it's a decision you got to make. There's been a discussion about whether the Bitcoin ETF would be able to garner the same enthusiasm as the gold ETFs. Now, in my personal opinion, I think clearly it's already breaking all records as far as the inflows go, but unfortunately GBTC dumping and the FTX estate, that debacle dumped massive shares as well. Unfortunately, there was a lot of outflows, but I think with the supply shock incoming, with the halving and the demand already being 10x the supply, and it's about to hit 20x after the halving in roughly 60 days, I think a genuine supply shock is incoming and there's no avoiding it, in my humble opinion. And that's not even taken into consideration sovereign wealth fund adoption and nation state adoption, and the list goes on and on. You know what I mean? So let me know your thoughts on that. And there was another actual interview he did on Wired recently entitled "Why Crypto Ideologues Won't Touch Bitcoin ETFs. The arrival of spot Bitcoin ETFs in the US offers easy access to the masses. Purists will steer clear." That's right, because people who understand Bitcoin don't want the fake thing. We want the real thing. And the real thing is you just self-custody your Bitcoin. So I'm not going to read you the article or the interview, but it's very good. And I highly encourage you guys to check it out. Support Max Keiser, the one and only high priest of Bitcoin. Shout out Max, Stacy, El Salvador. Also, I got to point out, now, Bitcoin game theory is in full effect in many different facets. One of them is the ETFs. We got 11 ETFs already approved in the United States early January, about a month ago. It's crushing right now. I shared earlier, BlackRock, Fidelity already collectively hold 130,000 plus BTC. It took them like 3 weeks. Now, there's going to be competition coming out of Hong Kong. We've discussed this on the show. They already have the first applicant, and they're looking to obviously launch their first ETF. They don't want to be left behind. That's pretty big for the Asian markets. We also have El Salvador. Max already blew the whistle, saying we're going to be launching in El Salvador Bitcoin ETF spot unlike anything else you've ever seen, and unlike any of the ETFs currently exist in the United States. The drastic difference, Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out, because with the ETF, everything is being done with the USD equivalents. And like I said, could the master plan of the US government seize all of those biddies after BlackRock and Fidelity and all the asset managers continue to do their bidding? Let me know your honest thoughts. Now let's dive into some live Q&A.